Welcome back to AM Northwest. You know, millions of women have left the workforce and leadership positions, many due to feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy. Here to share 4 myths that keep women from truly owning their power, we welcome back career strategist and personal brand expert, Dr. Carol Parker Walsh. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. All right, let's talk about these 4 myths because you know them well because you talk about this. The first one is that a lot of women still feel they need to prove themselves.
Yeah, that is super, super common. So once they get into positions of power, right, they still feel like, okay, now that I got the role, now that they hired me, now that I'm, in the C-suite or in this high level position, now I have to prove myself. And what I always tell women, particularly, my clients particularly, you've already proved yourself. They hired you. So they hired you, you're there. Proof is done. Now all you need to do is just lean in and to do the work. But that feeling as if they have to prove themselves causes them to overwork, to burn out, to feel undervalued and underappreciated because they're working overtime and disregarding their boundaries, using up their weekend, not having true alignment with their career and their life because they feel like they have to somehow prove something. And I always tell women, they hired you, proof's done, you're good.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense because I'm sure that women are apt to then have a hard time saying no to everything or to anything.
Absolutely. Women by nature are nurturers. We tend to multitask. We, want to make sure that we're doing such a great job. So you're right. We'll tend to take on more tasks, more responsibilities, because somehow or other we think that we are in the deficit when we start a job, and somehow or other we have to get up to the line. But you have to understand you went through that process of proving yourself. You went to the interview. They read your resume. They looked at several other candidates, and you were the one they chose. So really owning that. And I'm telling you, I have had this conversation with clients who have been promoted to the C-suite, all the way to middle level management. They still feel like, okay, now I have to prove myself. And this is really stronger in women of color, I have to say. So this happens with women generally because just, with the patriarchy, I mean, we can go into all of that, just feeling less than, feeling as if what they bring to the table is not quite at the level of everyone else or their peers. And sometimes organizations, depending on the culture of the organization, can give the impression that somehow or other, now that you're here, you have to prove that you deserve to be here. So for women and women of color, this is a really strong challenge and issue. It fuels imposter syndrome and all of those things because they feel like they got lucky because they got hired, as opposed to, no, your skills or credentials got you that job. You deserve to be there. Now just lean in and do your best work.
Your next myth is, I don't need any help.
Yes, right. So this is something that, has been perpetuated by this feeling that if I have to ask for help, then that means somehow or other I am deficit. So I should have all the answers. I should know all the questions, know everything they want to know ahead of time. And we don't know that. And studies are showing that, women do want to help promote and mentor other women, but oftentimes we don't ask for the help because we think somehow or other it sends a message that we don't know what we're doing. So I say, ask for the help. No one got where they got by themselves, right? It takes a village. Everyone had some type of support or mentoring or help. So don't be afraid to ask for that mentorship and support. You're not asking for it because you are deficient. You're asking for it because you're smart enough to know what your zone of genius is that you can handle and the areas in which you may not quite be where you want to be, that you'll get the support to help you level up and be the best possible, employee, worker, professional careerist that you could possibly be.
Also, it seems like a lot of women have a hard time tooting their own horn, like being proud of what they do. Yeah.
Again, this is very common for women. We lack this ability to self-promote. In fact, I was just having a conversation with someone who, you know how when you give women a compliment and they're like, oh no, oh, that was so easy.
Right.
Anybody could do it. Like we totally diminish what we've done and don't take credit for the work that we do because for some reason, again, this is societal ideas of gender and patriarchy that women shouldn't we shouldn't brag, or we shouldn't, toot our own horns or talk about how smart or intelligent or brilliant we are, because it may be off-putting or it may come across as bragging. But instead of waiting for others to reward and recognize you for the work that you've done, you have to learn how to engage in self-promotion. It's part of the whole thing of branding that I do with people. You have to be able to own and know what you're brilliant at and be very quick to say, no, I was the one that did that. No, I'm the one who initiated that project. No, I'm the one that helped to land that $1 million deal. No, I'm the one that brought in that multiple $1 million return on investment for this organization. And we get the reward and recognition when we let people know around us what we've been able to do. It's not bragging, it's actually just speaking the truth.
Absolutely. And then women have a tendency to see the cup as half empty.
Yes, that's the other thing. We tend to focus on the things that we don't have, any deficits or lack, versus the things that we do have. So when we're looking at particularly job description, or we're looking to interview for a position, we'll look at the job description and there could be 20 things listed. We could have 18 of them down, but we will focus in on the 2 that we don't. And think that, well, unless I have everything together, then I can't apply for that position. Or unless I have everything that they're asking for, then somehow or other I'm not ready. But this is the reason that we think this way, is because we haven't learned how to articulate our genius, how to articulate what we do well, and how to explain that to other people and connect the dots between our brilliance and the return on investment that the hiring manager or the employer wants. And so once we learn how to promote ourselves, once we learn how to own our genius and our gifts and the ability that we can do some things, then we won't look at the cup being half empty. We'll continue to focus on what we do well and lean more into what we do well, and show the connection to the employer why they need us because of the brilliance that we bring to the table.
All very good points. Dr. Carol Parker Walsh, thank you so much.